What is up? What is up, everybody? Warm hello, folks. Thank you for being here. Make sure you can hear me okay. Let me know. Sometimes I do these videos and I go a good few minutes before I realize I have the audio all fouled up. But folks, thank you so much for being here. I'm, of course, Big Cheds. Find me on Twitter at Big Cheds. You can find me on Bitcoin Live, where I'm a founding analyst. For the last 7 years, I've been doing a twice a week full market report. And of course, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube at Cheds Trading. I do these streams. I try to do them twice a week, every Tuesday, Friday. I will skip one, here and there if I've got something going on in my life. These are extra, these are fun. So, if you miss a stream, if you can't catch up with one, I've got tons of great stuff for you to check out on my YouTube. First of all, the Trading Encyclopedia Daily Education Series. It's a brand new series I've come up with. And these are 3-minute videos designed to teach you professional technical analysis, designed to take complicated topics and make them simpler, easier to digest. I've already recorded almost 170 of them, and I have another 200 or so topics I want to cover. So check it out. Feedback is great. Folks are loving it. I've also been doing long-form interviews recently, and I've got some great guests lined up. I just have to pin them down, but we've got 2 new recent ones, one with Follis and one with Checkmate. He's an on-chain fundamental analyst. So that was really cool. So check that out. And to remind you again as well, my favorite exchange is BingX. I do have a partnership for my friends in the US who can't use BingX, so I'll tell you about that soon. But you're here. So thanks for those of you who are here live, for those of you who are watching on replay, thank you as well. We'll do, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, some of the top altcoins. And what I'd like to do is hear from you. I'd like to hear your requests. I love the fact that these can be, interactive conversations. And you have the ability, now that I'm here, you have the ability to talk to me, ask me questions. And so I say, take advantage of that for sure. So let's just start out. I do have a bunch of really complicated tweets. Not Vitalik here. Vitalik's a little bit excited with Ethereum, but I have a bunch of complicated tweets which I thought would be fun to walk through to kind of go over just price structure and explain some of these academic terms. So we know about Ethereum forming this right-angled broadening descending wedge. There's a bullish continuation pattern. Just pulling this up in the weekly, what you have essentially was the price, and we'll do Ethereum first. The price was advancing into this range peak, 1, 2, 3, 4 day, price interactions with time interval, and you take the measured move from the last point, from here to here, and whether you do linear, it's 6,500 is your measured move. Whether you do logarithmic, it's 10K. This is the bump and run reversal. I actually have a video on this for the Trading Encyclopedia. It's up here near the top. Here you go, bump and run reversal. So I said, well, what if Bitcoin does that for fun, right? So that's what this tweet was. What if Bitcoin forms its own right-angled broadening descending wedge? For fun. I'm not much of a guy to predict things too much, to kind of come up with, exactly how it's supposed to go, the ABCs. Because it's really hard to anticipate the exact texture of consolidation. But it'd be fun. What if Bitcoin does that? And what would that actually look like? And kind of viewing it here on the daily time frame rather than the weekly. So what would that look like? Well, you would roughly define your range peak right around 120K. And then you have, again, the series of descending demand trend right there. And the idea, just for fun, would be, again, we're spitballing here. Just for fun, be some type of rejection here. Revisiting the lower boundary, maybe lining up perfectly with 110K. And then you go and you break out, okay? So here's the thing, though. That's kind of an underdog scenario, meaning you probably won't even get that because of what's happened recently. So after the initial loss of 116K, right, which was the immediate range lows here, I started to shift my focus down to 110K, well-formed level in classical charting, 3 data points. It was the most recent breakout level, and the price essentially front ran it, right? It bounced off 112K, which was the prior all-time high, but there's only a single data point level. But since it bounced off it, now we have 2 data points, and a major swing low at 112K. So we have a major swing low at 112K leading to a recapture of 116K, which was this prior ranges, support level. We understand the principle of polarity and support becoming resistance. I have a video on that in here somewhere. I have so many videos. I'm kind of obsessed with this project, but here you go. Principle of polarity. You should watch that. But it just explains the idea of, resistance and support. So, we've recaptured 116K, which is why I love being able to explain my tweets, which is why bulls laser focused on 116K holding with the idea of stair stepping, with the idea of regaining lost momentum. So we're kind of zooming in, we're getting a little more, we're dissecting the kind of local chart, local meaning the most recent nearby action. And you had a series of essentially 4-hour throwbacks or retests of 116K and it held. So you had the major range breakdown, the front run of 110K, the support hold at 112K, forming the swing low, punch through, recapture. Now we got 116K. So bulls want to see 116K hold go forward, okay? You could see this right angle, broadening wedge, or maybe what? Inverted head and shoulders continuation, kind of like we've got going on with BCH here. I put out a tweet. Now it's breaking out. Look at that. Beautiful breakout. And we'll get to that in a second, not to bounce around too much, but inverted head and shoulders with is it called head and shoulders complex because there's multiple shoulders. I have a video planned for this. I haven't formed it yet. I haven't filmed it yet, but I'll get to it. But, head and shoulders complex, it's a continuation pattern, right? So on Bitcoin, why not potentially form that? That's just as reasonable as before. And, with that in mind, you'd want to see 116K hold if it did some type of a consolidation in right shoulder, okay? So, but back to what we're looking at and what's most important right now, 116K. So here's the series of tweets. Bulls are focused on 116K holding. A lot of great questions, and I'll get to the chat room. I love you guys. Thanks for showing up. All right, but then what do we got here? Bitcoin, bearish pin bar on daily, shooting star, after advance with local upthrust. There's a lot of words here. Grok, what does it mean, right? Everyone's like, Grok, what does it mean? Well, I create videos for you. You don't need Grok. So we know what a pin bar is, right? Because we understand there's a video in the trading encyclopedia pin bar, right? So it's a pin bar. It's basically just an upper shadow or lower shadow candle, bearish pin bar, gravestone doji, shooting star, or just like a medium body with any kind of an upper shadow after an advance, right? Like a bearish pin bar. So we got the bearish pin bar, right? So we got the advance after 116K recapture, and we have the bearish pin bar here. It's also technically a spinning top. It's also technically a shooting star. A spinning top, any small real candle body doesn't have to have equal wicks. Shooting star, it's also called a pin bar. And what's interesting about this is that you essentially had a local range break and failed hold. So hopefully, I feel like sometimes I'm saying too many words, I'm doing too many things at once. But I'm trying to be as educational as possible. So it's the pin bar on daily after advance. That's important because any type of, candlestick signal, you want it to be after a trend. So after advance with local upthrust, which is interesting. Well, what does that mean, upthrust? Well, of course, I have a video on that. An upthrust, simply put, is any type of, say this is a resistance level, that's formed over time. And it has to be a level that's formed. It could really be a single data point, but it's stronger when it's a level that's formed. You break up above it, you fail to hold, right? Oops in classical charting, or just an upthrust. You think of the Wyckoff. It's just a failed breakout, right? Just like a spring, opposite of a spring, a failed breakdown. So you have the shooting star after the event with a local, with a local failed breakout, aka upthrust, right? So what do we think about that? Do I have a follow-up tweet on Bitcoin? Okay, that's a BCH tweet. Here's Ethereum. I'll get to that in a second. Here's Link's cranking, folks. And here we got Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin now working on 4H underside circa. Circa means like around, by the way. It means like in the area of, in the round, 120K, right? So what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. Let's go to the 4-hour. To get a better visualization. We see the price structure here. We see this range peak, roughly in this area here. And what's happened is this here on the 4H is what formed the shooting star, the pin bar, and the daily. And now we're back below the level and retesting it from underside. So what's a pullback or an underside retest? Of course, you can just go watch. Here you go, the video underside test. That's essentially what that is. So we're having an underside test with a real chance to drop back into the range. And so we default back to what's most important is want to see 116K hold for bulls, right? You want to regain lost support. Okay. I'll do hype. You don't have to beg OvoCal. I'll get to it. I'll get to hype. So that's the deal with Bitcoin, right? It's generally quite bullish. It's just interesting to note. These are just minor moves here on the daily. I mean, the weekly trend is pretty much unblemished. It's just price at all-time high, essentially at all-time high, and rising EMA 8. Ethereum, though, is breaking out versus Bitcoin. We see that on the pair. Ethereum versus BTC, major range low recapture, kind of a bump and run bottom overextension. Advance into the tower top, found support, kind of like Ethereum itself on USD with the tower top and retrace to the midpoint of the Maribozu up. And we have the breakout here of relative strength, right? So Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin, but Bitcoin's still doing really well. It's just that Ethereum is doing even better. And we talked about the right angle broadening wedge at the beginning of the stream. I had the video on it. This is a major, incredibly significant high time frame breakout. I would say, arguably as significant as the recapture of the 2150 level, right? So you have a major high time frame breakout. Ethereum is outperforming, but we don't really see any cracks in the armor, any chinks in the armor, any sense of weakness in Bitcoin yet, right? So we're kind of watching these in dual track. Everyone, you think from earlier cycles, Bitcoin, has to top off when Ethereum runs. Not necessarily. So you want to still just play each chart, one at a time, and just to kind of wrap things up in Solana. Not much of a trend here, but generally somewhat of an ascending triangle with the rising demand structure. Want to see 155, 160 hold. It's been weak to Bitcoin. This is also an underside test. So I'd obviously much rather be in either Bitcoin or Ethereum than Solana, right? So explaining a few more tweets, and then I'll get to the chat room. I want to hear from you folks. I want to talk to your questions. Let's see what is going on. So Ethereum, we talked about. Ethereum this is interesting on Ethereum. So there's a concept that I'm wanting to and will make a video on soon, the idea of kind of one pattern morphing into another. So you understand the idea of, so here's the initial tweet, right? Ethereum testing the trough, which means the low of an M top, essentially a double top, right? But we know, because you're a student of mine, you've watched these videos, something like 63% of double tops fail. Of course, there's a video on double top, double bottom in here. Just, you'll find it. It's in there. But what's interesting is how patterns morph. So think about like an ascending triangle, right? How does that even form? Well, you've set your first high, you set a low, and you come back. And a lot of people want to say, okay, double top. Not really. It's a double test. You're more likely to put in a higher low, right? And then form this continuation pattern. But specifically in this, for this lesson or this moment in time, here's the trough. It's testing the trough of an M top. And then price holds at trough low. So the price held here essentially, came back up, and it formed what's called a bull flag, but a bull rectangle. Like bull flag, we know can be a falling bull flag, can be equal or rising. I have a video on this. It's just not out yet. I do apologize. But it kind of morphed from a double top into a box, which is a Japanese candlestick term, or just straight up bull rectangle. And what's interesting is we now have just a clean breakout working on a local Ethereum, working on local. When I say the word local, it means nearby or recently, right? Local breakout. So that's Ethereum. I showed you the BCH chart. Somebody said, why? Who would buy BCH? I don't care. BCH has been one of the strongest coins now for months. You shouldn't care who's buying it or think about it in terms of technology. You need to if you're a trader, just play it, man or woman, whoever, right? Just play it, ride the trend. Stop trying to intellectualize these things. Stop trying to their technology sucks. Who cares? It's an uptrend. Link is cranking. Link has some nice relative strength. I put out a tweet there. You see pretty much, stair stepping, double bottom, generalized throwback. It temporarily lost it, but it continued through local breakout, pushing towards, these highs. Link looks really good. Okay. Let's get to the chat room. There is a big old group of you folks, and I am honored to have you here with me, hanging out with me, allowing me to talk to you in a funny orange mask and to dance. What's up, Ovo? Alex, is that Alex Shiva? You said Alex finally caught up to live. What's up, Gordon, Mike, Mohammed, blessings to you. Mohammed, Matej, Daniel, Psalm Capital, Mauricio. I love to see all these familiar names. Tino, Ross, and many more. It's great to see all you folks. So one of the earliest people into the chat asked me about Pulse. And now that Richard Hart, his lawsuit, whatever, I really don't care about that stuff outside the chart. What is it going to do now? This is okay. It's not a great chart. This is this is in the middle to the bottom of the pack in terms of charts, maybe 30th, 40th percentile. It does have a double bottom with higher low, which is good. You want to concentrate on this level holding, but you have all this structured resistance on the way up. I would generally say this Pulse is not a great chart. I would just play something else. I don't hate it. I certainly don't hate it. It's not terrible, but for me, you have limited time and focus. Don't think, well, because Richard Hart, whatever, then this is going to do whatever. No, you have to kind of separate these things in your mind, okay? There's the price trend, and then there's the information outside of the chart, which may or may not affect the chart. So at the end of the day, just focus on the four corners of the chart. I don't really like this one. Somebody had begged me to cover Hype. We'll do that, and then we'll kind of bounce around in the chat. I mean, Hype is looking good. It's grinding higher. What do we think about Hype? Okay, so Hype has a major recapture here, right around 41 to 42. That's significant. You'd like to see that hold going forward, and that, more or less lines up with the initial pausing here in June. So Hype looks good. It is bullish. You had a nice throwback and hold here around 35, 36. So it looks pretty good. I'm not sure what more needs to be said. Let me scroll around. Ross says, I've been following you in X for a long time. I appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you, Ross. And Ross, are you familiar with the Trading Encyclopedia? I got brand new videos every day. Folks, if you are curious about a topic, look at this watch list. If you don't find the subject, let me know. I'm going to record a video for you. It makes your life easier. It makes my life easier when I tweet. I can say, hey, here's this video explainer. What's up, Tino? Says, good afternoon. Mauricio, good to see you. You want to see Rect? Sure. Rect was, let's see, do I still have it up here? Yeah, Rect. Okay, Rect is on KuCoin, so I'm a little bit askance. I'm looking at a little bit askance as opposed to Binance or something. It's decent. I don't know what's up with the exponential numbers here. This is what TradingView is giving me. I don't know if this is it basically means 0.00000 whatever. But what you have so far is still a nice uptrend. There's no real change, Psalm, from the Bitcoin Live update on this. It's an uptrend that is essentially testing support here. It did pause and consolidate, made a new breakout. You can just think about this as a generalized throwback. Daniel says, Cheds, hey, Cheds from Montreal. What's up, Daniel? That's a great city. I actually talk about Montreal in my my cancer memoir. By the way, any of you folks who are listening who are fighting cancer or know someone who's fighting cancer, I am a cancer survivor and I was a caregiver, so I write about that here. It's my first book that I published. The whole thing's free, and I talk about traveling through Montreal, which is definitely a really cool city. I like the vibe there. Hello from Melbourne. It's probably Mike. It's late for you, man. I recorded a couple streams recently with people from Australia, and it's a big time difference. Greetings from Bedford, Englandistan. That's where my boy Peter McCormick is from. I do have an interview with Mr. McCormick of Bedford fame. So Abyss, what's your take on Bitcoin right now? I talked about it. Can it keep continuing going up? Sure. I mean, look. What are you talking about? It's just nearly unblemished in the weekly time frame. This is just a gorgeous chart. What would the concern? If you want to tell me what your concern is, Abyss Illusions, your concern is that it may not go up. Well, what's your concern? Because this is incredibly strong. There is no signs of weakening when I'm talking about this daily up thrust and the 4-hour throwback. This is just minor consolidation that I'm looking to trade because I'm a trader, I'm looking to give information to other people who are traders to work off of. So I don't know like what you'd really be worrying about with Bitcoin so far. Cheds, what's your take on Bitcoin? And Cheds, what coins do you see that are performing best? Well, relative strength. Link has relative strength. BCH has relative strength. I mean, kind of quickly look through. Aave is at an interesting spot here, but it's not as good overall. It's trying to get a testing a local peak here. But I mean, BNB has been just one of the best charts for a long time. TRX has been one of the best charts. I mean, if you want to talk about best performers, you have to talk about TRX and BNB and BCH. Whether or not you like them or those are some of the best right now for sure. Doesn't mean they'll be the best, but they have been among the best in terms of relative strength, and certainly Ethereum, right? So let's see. I did hype. Can you share about your THC use? Okay. Sometimes I just read the questions without. Chad, can you share about your THC use and how it relates to trading? Does it have a positive, negative impact? Yeah. Okay. So when I record my videos, I try to make sure I haven't used any medicine yet for the day. I try to be as sharp and as clear as possible. I tend to use THC for multiple ways. It definitely helps. First of all, it's an anti-tumor agent. It fights any tumors potentially growing in my body. It helps with appetite. It helps with inflammation. It's a painkiller. So if I'm using it and I'm trading, maybe I'll be a little bit more careful and mindful. Am I just being maybe more casual? Maybe I just want to have fun. So if you're going to use it while you're trading, be extra mindful of if you're going through all your steps. And you should probably record separately trading with and without THC. By asking me about this question, my sense is that maybe you're struggling with it a little bit, or it's causing a little bit of a roadblock. So I would find a way to compartmentalize. Maybe use it when you're done with your work for the day. Maybe when you're using it and you're trading, be extra careful. You have to use your trading journal. You got to stick to your thesis. Stick to your stop loss and don't get shaked out, faked out. I do talk a lot about THC and CBD in, again, the Cancer Memoir. I'm not trying to plug that, but I do talk a lot about it. The science behind it. All right, let's see here. Great chat room, and those who are catching me on replay, it's thank you for being here as well. I'm sorry you couldn't make it. About emotional management, great. Okay, Mauricio, how not to fool ourselves? Yeah, that's a tough one. Right. When a level is broken down, and how to take the stop loss. Yeah. So emotional management. So I have tons of free stuff on emotional management. I don't know if you know, but I've published 4 books. My third book is Trading Quotes, and it's like very heavy on that. So actually, I'm recording every single part of this book for free. Let's see. I've done up to week 18 to 19. I'll do another one next week. So there's just a ton of quotes where I just discuss emotional management. I also have some tidbits in the Trading Encyclopedia playlist on emotional management. Are you excited? Are you scared? Are you feeling cocky? You gotta, here's the deal. You have to take a small loss before it becomes a big loss, and every massive loss was once a small loss begging to be cut. So, what's your stop loss? Again, I have a video on stop loss, right? And it's up here near the top since it's one of the more popular ones. Trading was in less than 46. Your stop loss is when your idea fails thematically, the theme, right? It's the idea of I'm in a trade because it would take, for example, like Ethereum, right? Let's say we were taking a local breakout here. It's daily. I'm long because it broke, 4,400 or something, right? Well, if it doesn't hold above 4,400, your thesis is invalidated. Maybe 4,350, maybe something just below, such that you have, at least asymmetric potential for profit versus risk. So look, you have to just look. It has to be money you can afford to lose. You have to manage the position size. If you're having trouble taking a stop loss, it's just too much money to begin with. You have to be a cold, calculated sniper. You have to be methodical. You have to push yourself and grind yourself and stick to your plan. So use the stop loss. Be mindful. Make sure you don't have too big a position size. That very well may be part of the reason that you're struggling, okay? Probably too big a position size, Mauricio. Alex says, Nomad says stochastics RSI. I don't like stochastics RSI. It's way too slow for me. I really don't even like RSI. It's a bounded oscillator, but the stochastics even slower. And it gives you all these false, you get crossing signals every 2 minutes, and it's topping off every 2 minutes. I mean, I don't use stochastics RSI. Yes, I'm going to record an educational video for you folks for the encyclopedia. I just don't like it. And there's nothing you get from stochastics you can't see in the price. I don't even use OBV RSI anymore. You can see it in the price. And you have to be disciplined. Does it hold 116K or not? Can it recapture 120K? There's nothing the stochastics can tell you that you can't see in. Is the price holding support? Can the price break resistance? Just, I would say, especially as a newer trader, you tend to think, if this new indicator, the true strength index, the money flow index, the McClellan oscillator, whatever. And I talk about this in my interview with Follis. You tend to think, oh, this is my silver bullet. This is the new one, but you end up getting to a point where you're starting to take a trade, based on what the oscillator is doing. And that is a mistake. You do not want to be trading based on what the oscillator is doing. You want to be just based on price versus key levels, okay? Great comments, folks. Hit like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Trading Encyclopedia. Could you take a look at Dogecoin and XRP? Sure. And you want targets, but Zen, targets for what? You didn't give me a sense of what you're looking to do, if it's bullish or bearish thesis. Now, and targets are generally useless. They're, you can kind of keep an eye on it. I'd say the most immediate target for XRP obviously is 350. So I don't know if that, maybe you're looking for more, but that's the next immediate obstacle. If it can break out of this falling channel, see what it does here, right? Generally, it's a pretty good looking chart. It's a rising trend. It's still generally digesting this level here from all the way back in January. XRP looks pretty good. Dogecoin, I haven't looked at in a while, probably because no one's been requesting it, and that means it's weak. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, it's a bad chart. My target, I would say Dogecoin bounces again, 24, 25, maybe of a short to see what it does. If you're looking for a target for a potential entry, like this is not a bullish chart. So I don't know when you say what's the target, I don't know if you're thinking it's bullish and you want me to say like target is like $5, right? That's just not here. That's just not here right now. So this is just not a great chart. It is weak, very weak compared to the rest of the market. I just wouldn't play this. I might even delete it from the watch list. There's so many other good plays right now, okay? Mauricio, we want to take a look at Curve Finance. I believe we wanted to see it hold 90 cents. Where's Curve on my list? I'm getting old, so I'm getting blind. Yeah, all right. So what is it? A diamond top? That doesn't really matter in terms of naming this construction. You do have generalized support you want to see hold at 90 cents. And you can kind of view this as having a temporary breach and recapture of the local support. Local, again, meaning nearby, right? So loss of lows are recaptured. It very clearly you want to see it hold at 90 cents. And then you've got this price structure to work with. It's not a bad chart. It's very much a pretty good chart. Just be patient with it. It's kind of a more slow grinding type of chart. BNB absolutely has been quietly strong. I've been not sounding the alarm, but I've been spreading the word about how bullish this chart is for many, 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 many months. And here we have the high time frame breakout. I've been, so there should be no surprise. BNB is one of the best looking charts. Great call. Mauricio, we check CRV. Ross, what's up, brother? We check CRV. Tom says, and folks, if I miss your comment, it's because it's just me. Like, I'm just chilling here with the orange mask, hanging out with you. There's no moderator. It's not that serious. We're just chilling. I'm just trying to give you folks some value and have fun interacting, telling you about all the free videos, all the great content on my YouTube. Tom says, hey, Cheds, I'm currently on chapter 20 of your book. Thank you. So chapter 20, that means you're talking about my second book, Trading Wisdom. I have the first 18 chapters here, free, and then I'm recording the entire book for free in the encyclopedia. So keep an eye out for that. Tom says, love your book. Thank you, man. Would you review Aura? It's on Solana. Okay, I don't know that I've heard of it. Aura. I mean, I like the name. That's cool. Esoteric, kind of groovy. if you will. Aura. Let's see what Kraken. We'll see what this one's got going on. Okay, nothing here. How about this one? Oh, is this what you're referring to, Aura Network, Tom? Please let me know. If it is, this is just trash. And folks, I'm gonna be honest with you all the time. It's a really bad chart. I would just delete it from the watch list. If it's something else, this one's at whatever 0.0085. This is just a really, 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 really bad chart. Market hates it. I hate it. That's how I operate, Tom. All right. Rob says, Cheds, props to you, brother, for your consistent, positive, educational content. Thank you. I mean, that's the whole thing. When I got started in this game, so many years ago, people helped me out. And especially when I was trying to take it more seriously and really, dive into TA. And for me, it's also selfish because I want to get better, right? Part of this Trading Encyclopedia series, I'm studying for CMT level 2 right now. And in my mind, I should be able to teach any topic in that textbook before I take the test. So it's, to be able to learn anything and to master it, you have to teach it. That's why I enjoy doing this, right? Shouldn't use THC when operating heavy machinery. These charts can be dangerous. So true. So true. Real and true. Martwan says, I'm late. You're never late, man. When you show up, it's time to the party. But remember, Martwan, you'd rather be late than show up at the wrong party. Mike is cutting in and out, says Rube. Is that for me or everyone else? Is that just for you or everybody else? Unis. Hey, what's up, Zach? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I'll take a look at Unicorn, Uni. I haven't looked at Uniswap in a long time. Just because it's been weak. Weekly chart, not great. Some local mojo, some local momentum, little bit of accumulation here, little bit, but I'll tell you, I don't hate it. It's kind of coming off the bottom. This is a very clear pivot. This is your swing low corresponding with this price peak. The bulls have said, this is where, the line must be drawn here, to quote Captain Picard in Best of Both Worlds. So you watch this level. You want to see this level hold. Alex says I was just kicked out from the stream. It wasn't me, Alex. I didn't kick you out, brother. I didn't kick you out. I would never kick you out. All right, so let's see. We've got a lot of great questions so far. Pengu, I'll take a look at Pengu as well. This has been a very popular one. It's been requested a lot in Bitcoin Live. I've seen it kind of all over Twitter as well. I mean, it's a nice little trend. It doesn't have a ton of history, but this is a bullish trend. It is pausing. You see the initial break of the uptrend, kind of this parabolic rise, hitting second level support, EMA 34 and the prior structure here. It's consolidating a little bit. Definitely want to see it hold 32, 33 cents. But this one looks pretty good, to quote Larry David. It's Aura on Sol, says Tom. But what does that mean to me? I mean, tell me on TradingView what am I supposed to do? Right? It's Aura, right? Aura on Sol. Here we go. Aura wrapped on Solana. This? All right. Maybe this is what you're looking for. Okay. Yeah, all right. I mean, boing, right? I mean, massive move, massive accumulation. Problem is, it's kind of a dead chart until here, which makes me a little bit suspect of what's going on. But this is high and tight. This is price consolidating after the move up. I have a video. What a surprise. I have a video in high and tight. High and tight. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. I have so many videos. It's crazy. High and tight. There we go. High and tight. There's other videos in high and tight. The idea of when you move, you have an initial flagpole. You look to see where in the move it consolidates. This is consolidating at the peak of the range. This looks pretty good, Tom. So this looks way better than that garbage that we were looking at before. Zena says, thank you. God bless you. Thank you as well. So, folks, these are fun. I enjoy the ability to come on a stream, to talk with you, explain some tweets. As I did today, I kind of went through some of my more academic tweets on Twitter. Of course, I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. Just to remind you, my favorite exchange is BingX. I've worked with them for like 4 or 5 years, and I have a new partner coming for my U.S. friends. I'll tell you about that soon. But I'm on Twitter at Big Cheds. I'm on Bitcoin Live. We do the twice-a-week report, Wednesday, Sunday night. Here I am on YouTube. I'm putting out a ton of great content for you folks. There is the long form interview series. I have 2 new interviews. I'm tracking down guests for future shows. The free version of my 3rd book, Trading Quotes. I'm putting out a new video every couple weeks there. And the Trading Encyclopedia, okay? 3 minutes a day. I'll go back, I have it here. 3 minutes a day, learn professional technical analysis for free. That's the tagline, and it's absolutely true. I've done CMT, I've read all the textbooks, I'm taking classical charting and Japanese candlestick theory. I'm putting them into easy digest videos for you. You want to just binge watch this. It's really going to level up your skills. So check that out. These streams are generally, this will go into live streams, quick market updates rather. Here we go. This will go into quick market updates. I do these Tuesday, Friday, right around noon time to catch US audience. I'll skip here and there. Like, what is today? Tuesday. I'll do on Friday, and then I'm skipping the next Tuesday because I'm going to be out of town. But I just, whether you're here live or you're listening now and it's a day, 2, 3 days later, I mean, just thank you. I appreciate you folks coming to hang out with me. I will continue to provide value and tell you my honest opinion on the charts. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'll try to get it to you next time. You can leave me a comment. I'll do my best. But just kind of soak up what I've got going for you on Twitter, YouTube, Bitcoin Live. Enjoy it. Let me know what you think. So, folks, thank you. Let's finish up with Church of 8 Wheels. That's my favorite song to jam out with. And that is what we're going to do. So let's jam out together, folks, with Church of 8 Wheels. What do you say, huh? Thank you, everybody. Big Cheds loves you. Big Cheds out.